Okay. Let me conclude. I haven't spoken yet about how all of this has evolved in the context of the neoliberal economy that has been building in the world over the last 25 years. That's the subject for next week. But how have anthropologists responded to this situation? I mean, development, when it started as an institutional practice, was dominated by engineering firms. I mean, the basic idea was how, okay, here are these people, they haven't got enough water. If they had more water, they would be healthier and they would have more water for farming. So we need more water. What do we, and the only thing we need to know is how much dynamite to stick in the rock, to blow it up, to make a hole big enough for the water. So development was essentially an engineering proposition in the 1950s. However, in the 1960s, somebody came up with people started asking the question, yeah, but wait a minute, how much does it cost? It's all right to say, you know, let's bring in the engineers, blow a hole in the rock and create a lake or whatever, but, I mean, how much does it cost? And what are the economic benefits of doing all this? And that opened up development to the economists who have been in charge of the development process ever since. But eventually, even the economic analysis of development wasn't enough. By the 1970s, it became clear that development projects often failed and were not delivering the economic results that they wanted. And so people thought maybe the reason they're failing is because of the people. So, okay, so you have engineers that blow up rocks. You have economists who look after the money. And who are you going to get to find out if the people are responsible, how they're feeling about it? And that's the point, of course, when anthropologists, I mean, where are you going to find experts or professionals who know about the people in these kinds of countries? The anthropologists. So the anthropologists come into development then. And they come in, obviously, in a subordinate capacity. The engineers and the economists are vying for control of the whole process and the profits. And the anthropologists are kind of, minor leaguers who are sort of brought along to add to some understanding of the human factor, often under conditions which are quite foreign to them in terms of their traditions of long-term fieldwork. They say, okay, I want you to find out what the human impact of this dam is, and I can afford to pay you as a consultant for 3 weeks. And you say, but wait a minute, I mean, I'm an anthropologist. It takes me 2 years to discover anything. And you say, well, do you want the money or not? And you say, all right, I'll take the money. So you go off and find some way of turning your 3 weeks into something that might or might not make a difference. Anyway, the whole problem of development, it seems to me, and this is where my own work was articulated, has boiled down, I think, in the period since independence, to a sort of political or class conflict between the bureaucracy and the people. In other words, what these development projects are bureaucratic initiatives launched by foreign firms, local governments, and international agencies. And they, for their success, they rely on the participation of people on the ground. But in many cases, these development projects are coercive. They act against the interests of the people. And the result often has been a kind of class warfare between the bureaucracy and the people. And this has posed a tremendous problem for anthropologists working in development. I mean, the question that the anthropologists face is, where will they locate themselves in this class war? And there are, in fact, only 3 positions. One is to report on the people for the benefit of the bureaucracy. The second is to take the side of the people and resist the bureaucracy. And the third is basically to try and have it both ways. And there are no, that is to say, to have one foot in the people and one foot in the bureaucracy and seek to mediate between them. And there are no prizes for you to guess which of these three options have been adopted most frequently by anthropologists. Of course, it's the third. The anthropologist is a born equivocator. I mean, after all, the anthropologist has two sources of affiliation. The fieldwork affiliation to the people he or she is studying, and the attempt to get a job in the academic bureaucracy back home. So these two sources of influence on the anthropologist are always at war, as it were, and especially in this situation. And that isn't to say that anthropologists have not individually and collectively done a lot of good in this rather messy situation. But it is the case also that they haven't really tried to come to terms with the issues of post-war development that I started out by raising with you. They've been preferred to limit their horizons to more narrow and local concerns, and have essentially abstracted what they write about from these other issues as to what actually is the relationship between the rich and poor countries that we call development in 1945 and now pretend still exists when it doesn't. Okay.